welcome RightSciences.
Good afternoon. Quick show of hands. Who here has experienced chronic pain or knows somebody that has? At RightSciences, we create products out of plants. We create patches out of plants. And we value quality and consistency in every patch that we make. Like going to a Starbucks here or in Shanghai, we feel the consumer should expect the same quality and consistency with every product they intake. That's why we have a rigorous set of lab standards that we require every lab to follow, as well as lab test every batch that we create. And you're looking at looking at two of the brands in our patch family. Right Patch, which has a THC, and Siva, which has the CBD. In addition to selling these Siva patches on our consumer website, we have three primary ways that we make money. One, we create our own partnerships with labs to make our own patches. Two, we make patches for major brands under a white label agreement. And three, we wholesale to distribution partners across the United States. And my mom was in pain. She'd had a massive stroke and was prescribed a massive amount of opioids. When I went looking for a natural hemp or cannabis solution for her, I found that she couldn't ingest and she couldn't inhale, so transdermal patches was the great and best form factor for her. However, I couldn't find a product that I would put on her body, so I made one. And my mom was not alone, and that she represents a huge market opportunity of people that need quality and consistent pain-relieving plant-based products. Legalization is happening. Globally, cannabis is growing at a rate that's faster and larger than the dot-com era. And within cannabis, transdermals and topicals are the fastest growing market segment. Who do we actively target? We're looking to target the active and the aging. Active people, like elite athletes, love our Siva patches as part of their wellness routines. And aging folks like my mom, I never get more calls than when she's low on Sivas. We launched in January, and we have gotten great results. The patches are working. They're working for pain, for migraines, for sleep, for cramps, and more. And we have traction, and we're scaling. We have our first lab open in Arizona. We're moving up to the West Coast and into Canada, and we're signing distribution partners across the US. We have a small round open to help with this expansion. And we have a great, small, and scrappy team with a combined 20 to 30 years experience across tech, sales, logistics, importing, exporting, agriculture, and more. And we know we can't do it alone. We have a great group of partners, including folks like HelloMD, that help our consumers find the best and most relevant information and products for their use. And we're also launching a patch at this festival to illustrate that with our methodology, with our existing infrastructure, we can go from ideation to market in a matter of weeks. We can get consumer feedback. We go into our lab. We have low R&D, no overhead, the existing infrastructure, and we launch to the market right away. Our mission is to patch the world, and we're looking for folks that want to help grow with us. I'm Sarah Blankenship from RightSciences. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Patch the world. That's patch the world. Fantastic.
Patch.
Questions?
Yeah, just a question about dosage and how long do they last, and how do you get around people being different sizes, weights, etc.?
Great question. So the question is, how long do these patches last? We've engineered these to go into the body at about 8+ hours. So it's time released over that period of time. We're hearing about 10 hours per patch. So think about this as replacing any sort of Advil or Tylenol or pain reliever that you might already use. You just patch it instead.
Right. So first of all, I'm super excited that there's like a product on stage that like makes like you buy the product and you use it, right? As opposed to like these very complicated tech solutions. Question about the market for patches, right? You know, when we see things like edibles, we say, okay, well, the edible market's growing at such and such a rate, and there, you know, this many new brands and this many, so you can kind of get a sense of it. But the patch market is probably a lot more nascent and small. But do you have any information about like that as a product category in terms of its growth rate, and then also the number of other brands that are doing patches relative to the interest in patches at the moment?
Right, sure. So sort of a two-pronged question, and that is, who is the competition? And the competition varies by state, and so there are probably more patch competitors in California than any other state, for example, but we are making some of those patches, right? We're generically making a bunch of the high-quality patches that are in the market today. So competition is variable. What was your other question?
And the other part is just what's the interest, like what's the growth rates of people's interest in patches because there's so many other ways of consuming lately, and patches is one of them. How's it comparing?
So if we look at the Headset.io data, for example, over the last 6 months, that's by far the fastest growing category. So it outstrips the growth in any of the other categories by about 4 to 1. And we're definitely looking at, we're understanding that this market is huge and growing, and we consider this sort of like the gateway patch, if you will, right? We want everybody to know exactly what's going to happen with their experience, and this is a great way to try that. You know, it's hard to know what's in an edible at all times, or what's in your plant material exactly, but we test the inputs in, test them out, so we know exactly the milligrams per patch that are going on our bodies.
Great answers. Fantastic presentation. Thank you very much, Right Science.